Hi, everyone, and welcome to 4-H at Home. I'm Amaya with Georgia 4-H, and I am so honored to be here with a few other awesomely talented 4-Hers and the amazing singer-songwriter Caroline Jones. Caroline has toured with so many country stars. She's worked with the Zac Brown Band, Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, and so many others. And we are so honored to have Caroline online with us today to answer our questions about what it's like to be a musician and what advice she can give to aspiring musicians like ourselves. So hi, Caroline, how are you doing today?
Hi, Amaya. You are the coolest. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. We're so excited that you're here.
Me too.
Other 4-Hers that I'm joined with today, we have Sasha, Mary Claire, Demond. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Sasha, we'll start with you.
All right, hello. My name's Sasha. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Dallas, Georgia. I've been in 4-H since I was in fifth grade, and now I'm in a group called Clovers and Company, which is a performing arts group in 4-H, and we travel all over Georgia and perform and stuff. And then I was just recently a part of the latest season of American Idol, which I made top 60. It was super fun, and I'm super excited to be here and to talk to you. So again, thank you.
I am Mary Claire. I am 12 years old. I've been in 4-H for about 4 years. I live in Sherman, Texas, and I'm a singer-songwriter. I just released one of my original songs, so you can check that out if you want. And I last year was invited to go to the Legacy Awards to sing with Jennifer Nettles, so that's pretty cool.
Hello, my name is Demond. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Prince George, Virginia. I've been a singer, songwriter ever since I was young. I've been in 4-H for 4 years now, and it's just been a great opportunity to be invited here, and I'm just excited.
Thank y'all so much. And like I said, I'm Amaya. I'm from Waycross, Georgia. I perform with Sasha in Clovers and Company. Like she said, we go all across the state and perform. We were actually supposed to be in Virginia this week, but because of COVID, that got canceled. But I've been in 4-H for about 4 years now, since the fourth grade. I'm 14, going to high school next year. And 4-H is my life. I do it every single day, all the time. And it has so many opportunities for young people, and I'm really blessed to be a part of it. Caroline, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I don't know if I can do it as eloquently and succinctly as you all. I'm like very impressed. You guys are the coolest. My name is Caroline Jones. I'm a singer, songwriter, and musician and producer. And I've been writing and recording my own records and touring for the past few years. As Amaya mentioned, I've gotten to tour mostly in the country sphere with some of my heroes, including Zac Brown Band and Jimmy Buffett and the Eagles, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. And I'm in the process of writing and recording my second record. My first record is Bare Feet, and I'm also an independent artist, which is something that we can get into. Mary Claire mentioned she's releasing her first single. This is a very unique time in the history of the music industry and in the history of all the creative arts, where artists have more autonomy, more independence, and also more responsibility than ever. And so it's a wonderful landscape that you all are going into with these passions of yours. And so I'm excited to talk to you all.
Thank you, Caroline. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on to the questions. So Mary Claire, let's start with you.
So I have a question for Caroline, and I was wondering, what was your interest in 4-H, and why did you choose to help to support it, and yeah, just what was so special that you wanted to help it with?
Well, I wanted to help Mary Claire. I don't really view it as helping. I view it as a part of my joy and my passion. I actually started touring after I played some New York City venues and did the bar circuit there for a few years as an independent artist. I actually started touring high schools and colleges, and I developed this program that I called the Heart is Smart program. And I toured schools for about 5 years. That was the bread and butter of my career early on as an independent artist. And simultaneously, I was recording and writing music in New York City, where I went to college. I went to NYU. And just early on, I saw, this was the early 2010s, so I saw artists like Ed Sheeran and Mumford & Sons, this kind of organic singer-songwriter genre resurfacing itself in the popular sphere. And I was really inspired by that. I was inspired by that kind of troubadour tradition, the singer-songwriter, very authentic. Jewel was a hero of mine, Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, these kind of storytellers, you know, with just their voice and their acoustic guitar. And that's what really drew me to country music early on, because I didn't grow up listening to country. You know, most of you are from the South. I grew up in the Northeast, outside of New York City. So I didn't grow up listening to country, and I wasn't really familiar with that tradition of songwriting and storytelling until my late teens. And I just fell in love with the singer-songwriters in country music, and I went all the way back and studied the history of it, starting with the Carter family and Hank Williams, who were kind of the founding artists of what we know today as country music. And so performing at schools and sharing those stories and sharing my songs, and just early on, that was a wonderful way for me to start building a fan base and also connect with folks who weren't that much younger than me. You know, you guys aren't that much younger than me, and it's a beautiful thing to have inspiration and mentors at a young age. That was really formative in my life. It started out with just modeling myself after my heroes, and then it's transformed itself in the past few years to being mentored by superstars like Zach Brown and Jimmy Buffett and Kenny Chesney. And I've seen how formative that is in my life, and I view it as my privilege and my responsibility to give that to other people as much as I possibly can. And it's just fun. I mean, artists love to connect. That's what we love to do, you know. Creativity is no fun in a bubble, you know, or in isolation. The whole point of it is to reach deep into your heart and express yourself and then share it with other people. Like, that's the joy of it.
What was that moment that when you were like, you were singing obviously, but what was that moment that you knew that this is what you wanted to do and this is like what I want to do, like for my career and like my job?
Yeah, well, there were two formative moments for me. One was as soon as I learned to read when I was a little girl, I would just write all the time. I'd write poems and stories. I've just always loved words, and I've loved ideas, and I've just always been friends with my imagination. And when I was 9 years old, I asked my parents for singing lessons, and I started training classically in opera and jazz. And almost as soon as I began singing, I realized that I could put all those words and stories to music, to melody, and there's just something magical that happens. You know, poetry is beautiful and instrumental music is beautiful, but there's something special about putting those two things together in the form of a song that's just enchanting to me, and always has been, and hopefully always will be. So I knew from probably 10 or 11 that's what I wanted to do. But when I was 17, I went to Nashville for the first time, and that was also a lightning strike moment for me in my life, because I saw a show. There's this place in Nashville called the Bluebird Cafe, which is a legendary singer-songwriter venue where all these songwriters go and play their songs acoustic, songs that they've written for stars that have been on the radio, but you get to hear it from the songwriter's mouth, you know, from their voice. And I fell in love with that tradition. I fell in love with being able to hush a room with just your voice and a guitar. That was so special to me and transfixing to me. And like I said, that's when I really got into country music, and that was kind of the missing piece of my artistry, because I love pop music. I love modern pop production. I grew up listening to a lot of R&B and classic rock. I grew up singing opera and jazz, so I love the spectrum of musical styles. But there was something in country music that was very formative to me and that I really resonate with.
A few weeks ago, I got to speak with Mama Jan Smith. Are you aware of Mama Jan Smith?
No. Oh, yes. The Atlanta-based vocal instructor. Yeah,
Yes.
I've actually met her a few times.
She's so awesome.
Yeah.
Great. I got to talk with her, and she told me a lot, and she told me about what she tells her artists and how she makes sure that her artists are prepared for when they're singing or when they're about to perform. So what are some of the strategies that you use when you're about to perform or about to record?
Well, I have a a pretty disciplined regime that I do not only vocally, but just physically, keeping myself fit, keeping myself healthy, keeping my energy as high as possible, because it really is, a totally immersive craft that we've chosen here. It's your body, because singing, the voice is a muscle. So it's physical, and it's also mental and emotional and spiritual, because this is art, this is creativity, and this is about reaching as deep into your heart as you can and bringing out the highest energy truth that you can, and making that as excellent as possible, talking about the craft, So it's a very, it requires all of you. And I love that. I love taking care of my body and my mind and my spirit. So I meditate, which I don't know if do you guys know what that is? That's one of the most important practices, in my opinion. And that's just the practice of quieting and calming your mind. It's really simple. It's just slowing your thoughts down so that you can be receptive to more creativity and more intelligent thoughts, because a lot of the thoughts in our mind are just kind of noise or conditioning. They're not always helpful, they're not always productive, and they're not always conscious. So it's basically like exercise for your mind. So that's something you guys might want to research. But that's something that's really important to me, especially with creativity and writing and calming myself before a show. I also take care of my body. I take care of my posture. It's really important in vocalizing, and I take, I spend a lot of time in nature. I think that's really important for creativity, at least for me. And then vocal-wise, I warm up every day, probably 45 minutes, an hour of vocal exercises and warm-ups. It's very individual. Some people don't need as much warm-up time. I just find that's what makes me feel comfortable, because if I perform anywhere, especially with promo or sometimes on these tours where I'm the opening act, you want to get on stage and be warm. You want to be at your best when you get on stage, because sometimes, there are a lot of factors you can't control, like the audience, for example, or your nerves, are sometimes difficult to control. So you want to try to maximize your energy and prepare yourself as best you can for whatever external uncontrollable factors you're going to face. So I just like to be really warm and really excited and as calm as possible when I go on stage. All those things are really important, but it takes time. You can't be too hard on yourself, because it takes time to get over the nerves of performing. It's something that comes with experience, at least for me. I used to get really nervous. And you also can't be too hard on yourself, because it takes years to develop kind of a protocol that works for you, of preparing yourself, because you can do what works for other people, but in the end, you're going to find what works for you. And that process requires time and experience. I'm still learning, so.
That was a great answer. Thank you so much. That really answered my whole entire question.
Oh, good.
I love that you said that your vocal cords are a muscle and an instrument, because I used to get in arguments with people at school all the time, because I would be like, no, you don't understand. Like, singing is like a sport. It's like a muscle. You have to take care of it. And a lot of factors go into it. It's not just like just getting up and singing every day. There's a lot of things that go into it, and taking care of everything, not just your voice. And I would just always get into little arguments with people about that. But yeah, but I had a question about, you said that you're an independent artist, and I am starting to record my first single that will hopefully be released by the end of this summer. And I'm just curious as to like what went into becoming an independent artist, because it's right now, I feel like, is a great time. A lot of people, young artists, are kind of doing their own thing and navigating their way through the music industry. So I just want to know how you kind of did that for yourself.
Yeah, well, there are great advantages and great disadvantages, like anything else in life, to being an independent artist. So the advantages, for me, in my experience, greatly outweigh the disadvantages. But it's a decision that every artist should be able to make for him or herself, which is a cool thing about the development of this time in history and in the music industry, is that there are just more options, right, for you to decide what's best for you. But for me, the advantage of being an independent artist is that I have creative freedom and complete autonomy over the music that I write and record and perform and produce. And that is just such a gift to me. That's such a privilege because I take great pride in developing myself as an artist, in developing my craft, and in the integrity of what I create. And I want that to go out into the world in a really pure way. And I want it to find its own audience, however big or small that is. And so my intention is really about creating myself as an artist, developing myself as an artist, and then putting that into the world in a way where it's able to find its own audience. But the disadvantage of being of that choice is that it is more responsibilities on me and the team that I create around me. And you're up against big conglomerates. You're up against big record labels. It's a competitive market. It's harder to find an audience or find your audience. But to me, it's worth it because I get to make the music that I want to make. I don't have to be constantly trying to justify my art or my creativity to business people. And to me, that's a wonderful thing. So like I said, it's not for everyone. And it's really about what your intention is. If your primary goal is to be commercially successful, you should probably go sign a record deal and do the journey and have the best time, you know. But I think just educating yourself on how the music industry works is the most important thing. And then kind of asking yourself, like, what do I really want? What's my intention? What are my dreams? What are my goals? And then educating yourself on how to get there. And my personal goal has just been about trying to develop myself as an artist and a musician, and having autonomy over what I make and what I create and how I put it out in the world. And I really enjoy the business aspect of it. Like, I really enjoy being an independent artist. I really enjoy being able to kind of be a co-leader in my own company, and I'm excited about the prospect of that moving forward, and about being a business person and an artist. So that's why I've chosen that route.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Yeah, that answered my question.
Oh, good.
So when I about to perform in a talent show, like I get nervous, but like when I start performing, then like I don't know, you get comfortable, more comfortable. Like, has that ever happened to you, or you're just natural?
Heck yeah. No, I don't. I mean, look, if you're passionate about performing, there is an aspect to it that's natural, because there's a reason that you love it and you crave it and that you dream about being on stage, as I'm sure you do. But there's a learning curve to everything in life, you know? And you can't expect yourself not to be nervous when you're doing something that you've never done before. The more that you do something, the less nervous you'll be, because the more you've earned the confidence in yourself, you know? Just know that it's all part of the process, and don't be too hard on yourself. And then try to develop habits and practices that mitigate those nerves, you know, and give you the best shot to give the best performance that you can, like meditation, or like warming up, or like running around or dancing before show. Like, whatever helps you, just try a bunch of things, and whatever helps you, do that. But don't do nothing and then expect yourself not to be nervous. Like, try to take the steps, and then if you're still nervous, you're still nervous, and eventually you'll get over it, because this is what we love, and you're going to perform hundreds or thousands of times if this is your chosen profession. So just be along for the ride.
I sing like a lot, and I sing like on stages and stuff. But when someone asks me, like if I'm just walking like on a sidewalk or something, someone comes up and to me and says, "Oh, hey, I know you. Can you sing this for me right now?" Like, have you ever had that? Like, do you ever like get like kind of nervous, and you like, I really like, because like it's just weird for me, because I just get kind of nervous, like I'm not warmed up or anything. But then it's so easy for me to be on stage but sing. It's just weird. Have you ever had like one of those points in like your career life or something like that?
Yeah. Actually, I really relate to what you just said. And I think, this is such a multifaceted question, but I think the best answer I can give you is, in those times, like, I think you're probably like me. You're just like a young control freak. Um, and like, you just have to sometimes go with the moment. And sometimes you'll say, no, I don't really feel like singing right now, if it comes from a genuine place. But a lot of times it's just dressed up perfectionism. And a lot of performers have that. You know, you feel like, I wasn't ready. Like, I wasn't thinking of this. Like, what if I'm not perfect? What if I don't, you know? And perfectionism is the enemy of creativity. And that's something that's really hard to come to terms with. Because I am a perfectionist and I'm kind of a control freak too, but creativity is this free-flowing energy, and you just have to trust, and you have to also practice and experience with yourself that it can always be there, you know, and you just don't judge yourself so hard, and not everything has to be controlled and not everything has to be perfect. And I'm just laughing as I say this because, like, this is advice that I always need to take and give myself. But I think that would be my advice in those situations. Just sing a little song from your heart as best you can, and try to mitigate the performance anxiety and the perfectionism. Because also, the earlier in your life, like, you're what, 12 years old? The earlier in your life you can get over those issues, oh my God, you're going to be so much happier. Like, if you can get over control issues and perfectionism as a performer, because there is no perfect, and not everybody's going to like you, you know, and coming to terms with that at a young age and not deriving all of your self-worth from what other people think and how you perform on a given day. God, it's so important. Like, do that now while you can. It's easier now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's something that a lot of performers struggle with, like that insecurity of having to be perfect and wanting to be on and all that stuff. So, yeah. It's so funny. I see myself in you.
Thank you for answering that, because that just like cleared up really everything.
Yeah. Just don't take yourself so seriously all the time, and just sing from your heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know, like, being in the music industry, kind of a lot of the times it can be overwhelming with how many other artists that are trying to do the same thing nowadays. And especially now it's so focused on not only your music, but being an artist, like your style, everything that goes with being a musician and an artist. So I want to know, like, advice that you maybe have for like, what maybe helped you set yourself apart from other people, whether that be like the way you write your songs or the way you record or produce or things like that.
If you really do the work that we've talked about here today, of really reaching into yourself and developing yourself as an artist and your crafts, you won't need to set yourself apart, because we're all so unique. The biggest challenge is actually having the courage to do that, because we live in a world where everybody kind of wants you to be like everybody else and what's already selling and what's already popular. So you don't need to set yourself apart. You're already set apart. You just need to have the courage to actually be yourself. And it sounds cheesy, but hardly anybody does that. That takes a lot of courage, and it takes work on yourself. And you made a really important distinction. You know, there's so many things today that go with being an artist, but if you lose the music plot, you're done. Like, you have to focus on the music. You can't get focused on what you look like or what other people are doing or what the competition is or how many likes you have or how many followers you have, or like, you just can't lose the plot of what you're about as an artist, because the music is what's gonna connect you with an audience long term. And you just have to keep focused on that, and you got to keep focused on yourself and develop the confidence and the integrity of your own art. And eventually, if you really do that, like if you truly commit to that, you will shine in a way that other people will take notice of.
That was so that was so great. Thank you. Like, that was so reassuring, especially nowadays when everything is so focused on, like, especially media putting like the focus on followers and likes and who's popular in the industry right now rather than music itself. So it's really reassuring to hear that from another musician in the industry that's doing very well.
It's really tempting, it's really distracting, but you gotta remember what matters and what uplifts people and connects people and what makes you happy.
I don't know about you guys, but I would love to hear an acoustic performance from Caroline. If Caroline, you'd be willing to, what do you guys think?
Yes!
Okay, let's do it. I name all my guitars. This is Jewel. who's one of my heroes. This song is called Chasing Me. And this is a really romantic song. I'm kind of a hopeless romantic. And this song is just about the kind of love that I always envisioned for myself. And a lot of the old-fashioned kind of romantic values that I really enjoy and still believe in. I watch a lot of these like 40s and 50s romantic comedies, and they're just so sweet and romantic, and so that kind of inspired this song. It's called Chasing Me. I've never given anyone a chance in my heart. Mom always said it was a treasure to guard. And the man who's worthy of giving it to will stick around long enough to prove it to you. But now I'm the one who's losing my cool. Butterflies make me feel like a fool. I've always been the one in control, but that boy just does something to my soul. He's chasing me down every road like my heart is a map he can read. He's chasing me round every bend at the end. He's right there waiting for me. He's chasing me, chasing me. Yeah, he's chasing me. And I hate to admit, but I like it a little bit. He says I ain't getting away from him now. I am the woman he's been dreaming about. And he says it don't matter how long he has to wait. He'll sleep outside of my bed and go in the pouring rain. And now I'm the one who's good to give in. I want his hands everywhere his eyes have been. Don't think I'm trying to escape anymore. Cause when I run, I turn around to be sure. He's chasing me down every road like my heart is a map he can read. He's chasing me, chasing me round every bend at the end. He's right there waiting for me. He's chasing me, chasing me. Yeah. He's chasing me. And I hate to admit, but I like it a little bit. He's chasing me. Yeah, he's catching up. It might be love. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. He's chasing me. Yeah, he's chasing me down every road like my heart is a map he can read. He's chasing me, waiting for me. And I hate to admit, but I like it a little bit. Yeah, I like it a little bit. Yeah, I like it a little bit. He's chasing me.
Wow, that was
Oh, thank you.
That was really good.
This song is called Rise. This is a song off my album Bare Feet. I've been sleeping in my mind, but now my heart is rising, rising with the tide, floating on a wave and buoyed by the sea. Carry me away, 'cause the world is not for me. If I could see through different eyes from 10,000-foot skies, I'd navigate the lies, never fear demise, nor be timid of the rule. How can I grow wise if I'm a fool? And home is in my heart, so why do I get lost in the crowd, trying to be proud? Oh, I must be quiet enough to hear the sound, the song inside my soul as it echoes in the clouds. I'm gonna sing it loud. Oh, I'm gonna sing it loud. Raindrops ripple as I breathe. I can feel the deep blue miles from my feet, coming up for air, conscience coming clean. I have left the past at the bottom of the sea. 'Cause home is in my heart, so why do I get lost in the crowd, trying to be proud? Whoa, I must be quiet enough to hear the sound, the song inside my soul. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna sing it loud. Oh, gonna sing it loud. No matter where you land or how far you may fall, you have heart, you have hands. The highest calling of our lives is to find the grace in the very place we stand and rise. I'm gonna sing loud. I'm gonna sing loud. Oh, gonna sing loud. We will rise.
Yes.
Queen. Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that when you went a cappella. I love that part.
That was
Oh, thanks. That's really fun to do live. Yeah. That's fun when we have like a full band and it all drops out.
Well, I know I'm going to be adding that to my iCloud playlist once this interview is over.
Yes. Love it.
Well, thank you again, Caroline, so much. And your vocals are so beautiful. And thank you guys again. Thank you to the 4-Hers. And I know we will all be working hard on our music after this. And I know that you guys are inspired by her as much as I am, if not more. So thank you again so much, Caroline. And we've really enjoyed this conversation with you today.
Thanks, Amaya. Thank you all. Thank you, Damon. Thank you, Mary Claire. Thank you, Sasha. I really appreciate your passion. I appreciate your curiosity, and I appreciate you all honoring the opportunities you've been given by 4-H. It's a very intelligent and wonderful thing for you to do, and I'm so happy to be a part of this. So if you all could please keep in touch on your progress, any questions you have, anything you want to run by me. I would love to meet you all in person and hopefully be able to perform with you. And yeah, I'm a big fan of you all. So anything I can do, let me know.
Thank you. Well, we're a big fan of you, and we hope that you have a great day. Thank you so much again. Bye.
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 He's chasing me down every road like my heart is a map he can read. He's chasing me